Our WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day continues. I'll show you why we're watching the northwestern skies just ahead.
Lightning hit several buildings across central Kentucky during this morning's storms. We'll show you the problems it caused.
And the Attorney General announces he's taking the governor to court again.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Well, you probably heard the rumbles of thunder or got caught in one of the downpours this morning.
We had a line of storms roll through, and we are not done with the stormy weather just yet. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey on this WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day. Chris?
Yeah, certainly much calmer out there, at least in the short term. Anything that we're going to get this evening is going to be scattered with a shower or thunderstorm, and one or two of those storms can be strong, but nothing to really write home about for now. I think that changes late tonight and certainly into the day tomorrow. A couple of showers trying to pop Campbellsville, northern parts of Adair County into Pulaski County. We jump into the Lexington Bluegrass region. A few sprinkles, a possibility, maybe a little weakening shower here in northern parts of Harrison County, heading over toward Mount Olivet, Robertson County. Folks in Carlisle may see a drop or two on the windshield as well. But we are going to continue to focus on what is developing here. I know nothing right now, right? What the atmosphere is primed to do, though, is to develop a big complex of thunderstorms not too far away from Chicago, back towards sections of northern Missouri. That line would then dive toward the east and southeast and may have a big-time damaging wind threat for not only Chicago, Indianapolis, into parts of Ohio, but conceivably that may include parts of eastern and central Kentucky, especially north of the Interstate 64 as of now. Again, until we actually see where that cluster develops and the track it is taking, but you can already get an idea of the direction it's heading just by the returns that are out ahead of that. Until we get an idea of exactly where that is heading, we'll let you know the damaging wind threat may actually increase late tonight, tomorrow morning. Hour by hour forecast. Remember, this is a radar picture, a future radar from a computer model that updates every hour. Look at the wee hours of the morning. Here comes that big line of thunderstorms diving into northern and northeastern Kentucky, and then the farther south and southeast that we go, that may weaken out into the wee hours of tomorrow morning. But it's one of those setups that can produce some significant wind damage across the Ohio Valley. Then we have another severe weather threat tomorrow afternoon. We'll highlight both of those when I come back in a few.
Chris, thank you. Those storms earlier produced a lot of lightning across the area.
Several buildings in Jessamine and Madison counties were struck by the bolts. WKYT's Caitlin Sentner shows us the problems the lightning caused in our top story at 5.
Whenever the storms came through earlier, we were kind of basically waiting for the first call to come.
It wasn't long into the storm before fire crews were sent on runs. Employees using their computers at Health and Family Services in Richmond say they were shocked after lightning struck the building. 4 were treated on scene. A Madison County homeowner watched a bolt strike in the backyard.
They saw lightning actually hit the building itself.
Crews were able to battle the blaze and salvage some materials inside of the burned garage. A couple counties away, many say they saw a similar scene.
We were in the lobby watching the rain, and I was actually opening the door for an attorney, and the lightning struck, and it was quite a sobering experience.
Many inside the Jessamine County Courthouse saying their ears were ringing when lightning reportedly struck the south end of the courthouse roof.
It just sounded like a big explosion, and then the fire alarm started going off.
When it hits a building, it'll do a variety of things, from blowing out the roof structure to lighting it on fire.
The Nicholasville Fire Department concerned the historic building caught fire.
There's a lot of void areas and areas where fire could grow without anybody seeing it necessarily, so we were checking out the whole building.
A window shattered, but luckily no sign of fire. Across county lines, many saying they're just happy no one was seriously injured in the storms. Caitlin Sentner, WKYT.
And this is Lightning Safety Week here in Kentucky. This year there have been 6 lightning deaths in the U.S.
There is going to be another court battle between Republican Governor Matt Bevin and his Democratic Attorney General Andy Beshear. Today, Beshear announced he's filing a legal complaint against the governor for his recent overhaul of 2 boards. WKYT's Sean Moody has more now from Frankfort.
This is the latest in a back and forth now between Attorney General Andy Beshear and Governor Matt Bevin. Today, Beshear said that Bevin's action, quote, threatens our very liberty. A Bevin spokesperson said that the governor stands on strong legal ground and called Beshear's action, quote, a courtroom circus act. This comes after Bevin abolished the boards of trustees for the Kentucky retirement systems and the University of Louisville. Beshear has said that Bevin doesn't have the legal authority to issue the executive orders dissolving the boards. Bevin, though, says he has, quote, absolute authority to dissolve any state board or commission. Beshear said his office would file a complaint this afternoon to challenge Bevin, saying his actions, quote, threaten our very liberty.
These moves eviscerate every check and balance on these boards and effectively makes the governor the head of U of L and KRS. And if left to stand, they would raise a whole host of conflict issues.
Shortly after, Bevin's spokesperson said Beshear was putting on a, quote, courtroom circus act, end quote, and that the governor was on strong legal ground. In fact, she said, quote, Beshear's own father relied on the exact same statutory authority to reorganize similar organizations in state government more than 100 times in 8 years, end quote. Now, Beshear said that a judge's ruling on Bevin's action against the KRS board would also apply to the University of Louisville board. In Frankfort, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Beshear said he would file the paperwork this afternoon in Franklin Circuit Court. Today marks 3 years since a Madison County teenager disappeared.
There's been no sign of Brooklyn Farthing since a party at a Berea home in 2013. I talked to her sister today, who says the family isn't giving up hope they'll figure out what happened to her.
June 22nd is always a tough day for Tasha Thomas. When she woke up this morning, all she thought to herself was,
just get through the day. I told my boss yesterday, I said, next year I'm going on vacation. I'm just going to tell you.
It was 3 years ago to the day that her sister, Brooklyn Farthing, went missing after a party in Berea. But the family and police are still searching.
You know, I talk to our detective every couple weeks about this case, and he says that pretty much things are coming in daily.
While it's difficult to have to relive the past,
it's just a lot of long, hard memories that come back with all of that.
Tasha says they still need people to come forward with new information.
As long as people keep talking about it, it's good. It hasn't died down.
We are looking at this investigation from multiple aspects and avenues, trying to determine what happened, where she may be, and obviously what led up to her disappearance.
The family is realistic about their expectations. All they really want now is an ending to this nightmare.
We want to find her. We don't have really hope that she's alive anymore. We just want the closure. We just want to put her in a place that she belongs.
Tonight at 6, you'll hear from Brooklyn's mother about how hard it's been to go so long with so many unanswered questions. If you have any information about this case, you can send an anonymous tip to findbrookefarthing.com. We have a link on WKYT.com.
A grand jury has indicted a man in a deadly hit and run. Our county-by-county coverage begins in Mercer County. The Advocate Messenger reports Matthew Warner is charged with leaving the scene of an accident and evidence tampering. He's accused of hitting and killing Heather Lawrence as she walked along Louisville Road on April 3rd. Police say he abandoned his truck afterward and had someone report it stolen. In Laurel County, state police arrested a man after finding children in a house full of drugs. Sean Rourke faces a long list of charges, including trafficking and endangering the welfare of a minor. Police say they found marijuana, prescription pills, drug paraphernalia, and cash during an investigation at a home on West Pine Hill Road. There was a woman present with children, but she was not charged.
In a little over 24 hours, 3 Wildcats will learn their professional fate. The NBA draft begins tomorrow night in New York. WKYT Lee K. Howard is there, where he talked to a couple of the UK players today.
By late Thursday night, Jamal Murray, Skal Labissiere, and Tyler Ulis will all know their NBA destinations. But truly, sometimes the waiting is the hardest part. That's what these guys are doing, waiting to find out where they will continue their basketball futures. I spoke with both Skal and Jamal this afternoon, and they said they're just trying to enjoy the process.
No, we all know what it is. We all know it's a long-lasting process, and you just wanted the day to come and you know what team you're going to, you know where you're going to live. So I'm just eager.
You know, it still hasn't hit me yet. You know, I'm still thinking about today and tomorrow. But I think it's really gonna hit me on at the table tomorrow, sitting there, just thinking about, I've pictured myself for years working across that stage, and to actually be here is pretty cool. So.
Now, both Jamal and Scal said that they've been working out for NBA teams leading up to tomorrow night's draft. Both said they're in good positions and feel confident that wherever they go, they can flourish. Here in Midtown Manhattan, getting ready for the NBA draft on Thursday night, I'm Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
Lee K., thank you. The NBA draft airs on ESPN starting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
House Democrats are staging a sit-in to get a vote on gun control measures. About 30 Democrats demanded the vote before sitting down on the House floor. The group wants to vote on a measure to keep suspected terrorists from buying guns. Democrats have vowed to stay all night if they have to get the vote. Presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump is hitting back at Hillary Clinton after she attacked his business skills. In a speech this morning, Trump said the presumptive Democratic nominee's decisions while Secretary of State helped create the Islamic State. The war of words comes as Trump tries to raise more money. The latest reports show he has $1 million in the bank compared to Clinton's $40 million. Lexington boy and his family that I first introduced you to in 2014 are in the nation's capital today to share about his battle with cancer.
The family of Paxton Bloyd is one of 40 families pushing for legislation to help others in their situation. Kelly Meyer talked to them about what they're hoping to accomplish in this story that's new at 5.
You wouldn't know it by looking at his smiling face, but Paxton Bloyd has lived through his fair share of challenges during his 7 years on Earth.
It went from he was absolutely fine in less than 3 months to stage 4.
Paxton was diagnosed 2 years ago with stage 4 Burkitt's lymphoma leukemia, an aggressive form of cancer that affected 95% of his bones, lymph nodes, lungs, and abdomen.
He said to save his life, you're going to have to go out of state. You're going to have to go to Cincinnati Children's.
Paxton traveled 85 miles to Cincinnati for treatment, and that wasn't the only challenge.
If you're a family in Kentucky and you need to go to Cincinnati, Ohio, you need to sort through getting eligible in Ohio Medicaid. And the physicians and families themselves have a huge burden.
Mark Wytesha, president of the Children's Hospital Association, says a bill called the ACE Kids Act could help take the burden off families like the Bloyds. It would address the problems associated with crossing state lines to get treatment.
The ACE Kids Act is an attempt to create a national framework that fits over and with all the state Medicaid programs and lets us create more national systems of care for these children.
Paxton and his mom are here urging members of Congress to sign on to the bill that's been sitting here for nearly 2 years. They're asking other lawmakers to sign on before it's too late.
Thousands of children are dying every day, and the media is talking about the Zika virus a lot. And Congress acted very quickly on that, I think within a couple of days, and yet children continue to die of cancer.
Reporting from Washington, I'm Kelly Meyer.
Lawmakers say there will be a hearing on the ACE Kids Act on July 7th.
It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. There have been more travel-related cases of the Zika virus across the U.S. As the number grows, so does the concern about locally transmitted cases, especially in places like Texas and Florida. Don Champion has more on what's being done to track the virus.
Regarding health officials in Dallas say it's not a question of if the Zika virus will be transmitted locally, but when. For now, the best defense is still slowing the growth of mosquitoes.
We've been going door to door, putting out door hangers, letting the public know the importance of draining standing water.
Dallas County officials are tracking 10 pregnant women who traveled and may have Zika infections. Health officials are concerned a local outbreak could happen here if a mosquito bites a person infected with Zika and picks up the virus. That's why people with confirmed cases are receiving these kits with insect repellent and condoms. They're also told to stay indoors at least 5 days. Southern states, including Texas, are on high alert because mosquitoes that spread Zika are common here. Researchers at the University of Texas Medical Branch are working with the NIH on a study of up to 10,000 pregnant women in Puerto Rico, Brazil, and other countries where Zika is spreading rapidly. The study will track several birth defects associated with the virus.
Do the babies have microcephaly? And if they do not have microcephaly, they are born normal. Are there any underlying conditions?
So far, more than 750 cases of the virus have been reported in the U.S., most travel-related. Don Champion, CBS News, Dallas.
And today, golf standout Rory McIlroy says he won't be playing in this summer's Rio Olympics because of fears about Zika virus. He is one of a number of high-profile golfers to pull out of the games because of the threat. It is a possible breakthrough in breast cancer research. Scientists say a drug already on the market could help prevent breast cancer in women of the highest risk. The drug is currently used to treat osteoporosis. Scientists found it prevented tumor growth in mice. Researchers have planned clinical trials, but say it could take 10 years to see solid results. And there's a new way to get your Girl Scout cookie fix while waiting for next year's sales. The Girl Scouts have teamed up with Pillsbury to offer Girl Scout cookie baking mixes. The mixes include caramel and coconut cupcake mix, thin mint brownie and cupcake mix, and caramel and coconut blondie mix. The mixes will cost $3.29 each and be available at grocery stores across the country. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.